Namaste children, today we are going to discuss the concept of separation of mixtures. So in our nature, we are not going to get the pure form of the substances elements directly. They are found in the mixtures. In order to separate these elements and compounds from the mixtures, we have to follow some purification process. Here, if you observe, mixtures we found in the nature. From the mixtures, we will get the elements and compounds. In order to get these elements and compounds from the mixture, we can call them, these are pure form of the pure substances. So we need to apply the purification process or separation of the substances from the mixtures. Here, distillation process we apply to distill the water to get the pure form of the water. Or we can apply the fractional distillation process to get the liquid form of the oxygen. It is widely using nowadays. Like that, many processes are there to separate the compounds or elements from the mixtures. In our daily life also, we can observe that is, we are going to separate the husk from the wheat. It is also a process of the separation of the mixtures. What we are doing, we are separating the husk from the wheat flour. Means we are separating the constituent of the husk from the mixture. Like this, many methods are there. The application of these methods will depend upon the nature of the mixture or type of the solvent which is present, type of the solute which is present inside of the mixture. So here we can apply the different types of the purification methods based upon some components or based upon some mixtures. So here, nature of mixture, nature of solvent and solute, physical state of solvent and solute. So here, in order to apply the purification methods or separation of the elements or compounds from the mixtures, we need to check these three characteristics. What type of mixture it is? So there are two types of the mixtures are there in nature: homogeneous mixture, heterogeneous mixture. In order to apply any purification methods, we need to check whether it is a pure heterogeneous or homogeneous. That is nature of the mixture. In order to apply some type of the purification processes, for that we need to go for the nature of the solvent. Means whether it is volatile or non-volatile. Like that we can check it. Or we can check it, is it solid or liquid. Next, physical state of the solvent. Like that just now we discussed it, whether it is solid or liquid. If the solvent is solid, what type of purification process we need to apply. If solid is solid, what type of purification method we can apply. Based upon the physical state of the solvent and solid, the application of the purification process will be depends. Now here, based upon these three, we are going to apply the purification processes. Let's discuss individually. Now we are going to discuss separation of the constituents of the heterogeneous mixtures. So we discussed about what is a pure substance, and as well as from mixtures we are going to separate the pure substances like elements and compounds by the help of the purification process. The application of method will depends upon the some nature of the mixture, physical state of the solvent and solute, and the nature of the solvent and solute. Here I am taking the heterogeneous mixtures. In this I am going to apply the different kinds of the purification process to separate the constituents. First one is loading, followed by decantation. So in this I am going to separate the soluble impurities from the liquids. For example, as you know that is in villages or in olden days, people used to separate the impurities from the water to get the pure water. They will take the water from the ponds, they will use some methods to separate the impurities from the water. In that, one method is we are going to discuss here. So here I am taking the water which is having the impure substances, the water is impure, means having the soluble properties, soluble particles which are impure. Now in this I am going to take one alum. I will keep this alum inside of the liquid with the help of one thread for a few hours. After some time, what will happen? This alum will be settled at the bottom. It will form like a precipitate, and it is having some characteristics to entangle the impurities from the water. Means it will be attract the impurities from the water. What will happen after some time? All the impure particles will be settled at the bottom. There will be a formation of the layer between the impure and pure substances. So here, for example, this is a layer. Here I found that is pure water. Here I found that is impurities. So the process of separating the impurities from the pure water, it is called as a loading. Afterwards, we are going to separate this pure water from the impure with the help of decantation. I am pouring only pure water from that vessel to the another vessel. So here in this new vessel I am collecting only pure water. So this process is called as a decantation. Collecting of the pure water from the impure is called as a decantation. Like this method is applicable to separate the impurities from the water. Now the second method is sedimentation followed by the filtration. In first method, like loading followed by the decantation, we take in the impure water which is having the impurities in soluble condition. Means they are solubles. But whereas here we are using this method for insoluble solids which are present inside of the mixtures. So by using this sedimentation process, we can separate the insoluble solids which are there inside of the mixture. For example, sand in water. Second one is lime in water. Like this, we can separate the sand from the water which is insoluble. We can separate the lime from the water also. So let's see with the help of one activity we are going to this. Now here I am taking impure water contain insoluble particles. If you are not disturbing this mixture, the particles are insoluble will reach at the bottom. With the help of loading or undisturbing this mixture, all the large particles will reach at the bottom. The process of settling down of the large particle at the bottom is called as sedimentation. So here one layer will form. Here it is pure water. It is impure water. Impurities is equal. Now, after sedimentation, we can do the decantation. We can separate the sediments from the water. But afterwards, again, we need to go for the filtration process to separate the small particles which are left inside of the water. So here, I am taking one conical flask. In the conical flask, I am going to collect the pure form of the water or pure water. So here I am taking one conical glass again. In that I am fixing the filter paper. So if I am pouring the water, what will happen? Only water will comes down and it will be collected in the conical flask, pure water. The residue which is there inside of the impure water, this is sediment, will form on the filter paper. So we can separate the residues from the impure water. Like this we can get the pure water by the method of the sedimentation followed by the filtration. This method is used for separating the lime from the lime water. When we are passing the carbon dioxide and the lime water, this lime water will be turned into milky color because calcium carbonate forms. If you are undisturbing that mixture, calcium carbonate will be settled at the bottom. After that, we can do the purification like the filtration process. We can separate the calcium carbonate from the lime water. Like this, sedimentation followed by the filtration method is used to separate the insoluble solids which are present inside of the mixture. Now third one is magnetic separation. Till now we discussed the mixtures which are having the liquids. Now we are going to separate the mixtures with the help of the magnetic separation. In order to apply this magnetic separation, the mixture should be having the constants. One is magnetic, another one is non-magnetic substances. When there is a magnetic and non-magnetic substance are mixed together and forming a mixture, we can use this magnetic separation to separate the magnetic materials from the mixture. For example, iron nails from sand, iron nails from sulfur, or iron particles also we can say, that is iron particles from soil. Like that, this magnetic separation method we can use to separate the iron nails from the various mixtures. So with the help of one lab activity, I am going to show this. Namaste children, welcome to Chemistry Lab. Today we are going to do one activity in separation of heterogeneous mixtures. In that we are going to do magnetic separation activity. So what is our aim? Here we are going to separate the iron nails from the sulfur powder. Our aim is to separating the iron nails from the sulfur powder. So for that we need the apertures, or we need some materials here. Yes. So what are the materials here? Here I am taking sulfur powder and magnet, iron nails, and as well as one dish or one small plate. So here I am mixing this iron nails inside of the copper or sulfur powder. So what is happening here? They are forming a heterogeneous mixture. How we can identify it is a heterogeneous mixture means we can easily identify the constituents which are there inside of the mixture. Okay. Now we are going to separate the iron nails which are there inside of the sulfur powder. Yes, look at here. Here these are the iron nails I separated from the sulfur powder. So like this we can separate the iron nails or iron fillings from the sulfur powder. So this process is nothing but a magnetic separation. So what is the conclusion we got here? We successfully separated the iron fillings from the sulfur powder. So you observe the lab activity what we did now. With the help of the magnet, we separated the iron nails from the sulfur powder. So this method is used to separate the magnetic substances which are present inside of the mixture. Hope you got the clarity about the magnetic separation. Now fourth method, it is a sublimation method. In the third method, we discussed separation of the magnetic and non-magnetic components of the mixture. In this, we are going to separate the volatile and non-volatile solids from the mixture. Means it will be works on the principle of the heating. When we are giving the heat to the mixture, volatile components will be sublimed and afterwards it will be condenses after cooling process. Whereas non-volatile will be stays in the vessels only when we are even giving the heat also. So like there are some examples which are having the volatile and as well as non-volatile components in the mixture. These are the four mixtures. In this we have the impurities like common salt and common salt which is present inside of the camphor. We can separate the camphor from the common salt. Or we can separate the iodine from the potassium chloride. We can separate the ammonium chloride from the common salt. Or we can separate the naphthalene contains dust. So sublimation is a process to separate the volatile components from the mixture, where non-volatile components will be stays in the vessels only by giving the heat. Now let's go into do one activity. How we are going to separate the volatile components from the mixture. Now with the help of this following activity, we are going to do the sublimation method. Now for that, what is the aim? To separate common salt and ammonium chloride. Ammonium chloride. So what are the materials required? China dish, wire gauge, burner, tripod stand, mixture of ammonium chloride, and common salt, cotton black, these are the materials are required to do this activity. Now let's go into the procedure. In the procedure, now I am taking the tripod stand. On this tripod stand, I am taking the wire gauge. On that, I am taking a china dish. In the china dish, I am taking the mixture of ammonium chloride plus common salt. It is tripod stand. Here I am taking the Bunsen burner. Here is the china dish. Onto this china dish, I am taking the inverted funnel. At the end of the funnel, I am closing the way with the help of the cotton plug. So, when I am giving this heat slowly to the china dish with the help of the wire gauge, from this mixture, ammonium chloride will be start slowly converting into vapor, and it will reaches to the walls of the funnel, which is inverted one. After some time, wait for some time till all the ammonium chloride will reaches the sides of the funnel. When some complete amount of the ammonium chloride is evaporated, stop burning of the Bunsen burner. Then let it be cooled. Whenever you are cooling this vapors get deposited on the walls of the funnel like solids. They will be. We need to continue this process till all the ammonium chloride will be vapored and means sublimed and forms as a solids to the walls of the inverted funnel. After that, we have to take out this funnel from this total equipment separately and take the ammonium in a separate dish. This is the pure form of the ammonium, which is taken from this mixture of the ammonium chloride and as well as salt. So like this, we can separate the volatile substances from the mixtures. Whereas here, what is remained here? Salt is remained here. Salt is nothing but non-volatile substance. Once again, what is in the volatile substances or volatile components? The components which are in solid states, they convert directly into the vapor and again condenses. So that is called volatile substances. Here, separation of immiscible liquids. In this process, we are going to separate the liquids which are immiscible each other. Means they are not going to be mixed each other. Will form the heterogeneous mixture. So, for example, the immiscible liquids are kerosene oil in water. We can separate this kerosene from the water with the help of this method. Let's do one activity here. With this activity, we can know that is how we are going to separate the immiscible liquids. Here I am taking funnel, which is having the stop cock. In the separating funnel, this is called as separating funnel. In this, we have kerosene at the top, water will be at the bottom. Why the water will be at the bottom only? Because water contains more density than the kerosene oil. That's why it is reached at the bottom, whereas the kerosene will be reaches the top, or it will be on the kerosene oil. Both together forms a layer also. We can easily identify the components like water and as well as kerosene. And taking the conical flask here. So with the help of the stopcock, what I am doing, I am going to separate the kerosene oil from the water. Here, with the stopcock, I am slowly losing this and I am allowing the water to go down. Means it will be flows into the conical flask. I am collecting this water in the conical flask. Whenever the complete water is reached to the conical flask, we are going to stop the stopcock so that the kerosene will be left inside of the separating funnel, whereas water will be collected in the conical flask. Like this, we can separate the immiscible liquids with the different densities. We can separate with the help of the process of the separation of immiscible liquids.